All right. So welcome. I am Sales Director Brenda Thomas, and this is our training 3. So it's our advanced new consultant training. Congratulations to those of you that are here tonight listening live. I will be sharing some information that might be things you've heard before, and I'll also share new information. As well as consultants that are joining live, you do have the opportunity to ask questions in the chat feature or unmute and ask a question. Okay, so we will get started. And thank you again for your time. And it's great to see you all. Okay, so, and Jess shared that she isn't able to use her camera because of poor internet. So that's fine. Jess, we're glad to have you here. Sadie, Carly, great to see all of you. First, I want to say congratulations to each of you. Congratulations for choosing to work your Mary Kay business. You know, you making the decision to be on tonight tells me a lot about you, and that you're excited to continue to grow your business and become the best consultant and the best version of yourself. And so that is awesome. A couple of the things that we'll review tonight, I'll start with some of those. Then I am going to get into detail about the 60-40 split, how to split our money. I will ask you for maybe a week of sales that you've had or something lately, just to put some real numbers to paper. I also will share my accountant's information. You do not need to use my accountant. You do want, though, to use someone who knows what they're doing. And you're welcome to use his sheets even if you don't use him as your accountant. They're very helpful on what to keep track of and what you can legally deduct. Okay? So without further ado, a couple things that you've probably already done, but let me just mention, is that there is the Great Start app. If you haven't downloaded the Great Start app, I highly recommend it because it tracks what you have coming, how far you are from your next free product, and that type of thing. How many of you, give me a thumbs up if you've already downloaded the Great Start app and if that you use it and refer to it? Okay, excellent. So that is very helpful. There's other training, there's ideas on how to invite people, but it really keeps track of, because all of you right now qualify for the Ready, Set, Keep selling, the Ready, Set, Keep selling. So I do want to revisit that tonight. And then also the team building rewards and all the free product or bonuses that you can take advantage of right now. If you take one moment, I'm just putting the chat feature, what is your Great Start, when does your Great Start time period end? Who knows when your Great Start time period ends? It's 4 months long. So if you started your business in June, your Great Start time period would be all of June, July, August, September. Okay, so for that example, your deadline would be September 30th. Okay, great. Carly's deadline is August. Good to know. And just September, excellent. It's great we're talking now because you guys can really capitalize, and Sadie, August. Okay, very good. So every time you're selling, replacing, or building, okay, every 600 cumulative in orders. So let's say someone has ordered 600. The next time, maybe this month, you're like, oh, I sold stuff, I'm holding things. And for example, Sadie, I know that you ordered like 400 wholesale this month, okay? So then maybe you're 200 away from your next free bundle, okay? And Mary Kay keeps track of that for you. And does it show up when you order, like you have this much, you're this far from the next one? Isn't that nice? Okay, so make sure.
Mine just did that today.
Okay, awesome. Did you just get a new bundle today? Or
I know I didn't get a new bundle, but it told me how far away I am from getting bundles.
So now you guys, you all qualify for the Ready, Set, Keep selling brochure, and you would have gotten this in your starter kit. So these bundles are valued anywhere from $90 to $110, okay, that you get to pick for free. So that is the brochure, and I just want you to be aware of these that you qualify for now through August or through September, okay? The other thing is team building. You also have the opportunity to take advantage of the team building rewards through August and September. Let me tell you what is during your Great Start time period, but then going forward after that too, okay, going past that date. So by your Great Start deadline, every new team member, first of all, do you guys remember how many besties coupon do you have? Exactly, 3. So you can actually give the gift of someone starting their own Mary Kay business for only $75 instead of $100 and getting the complete starter kit. Also, the virtual, the $30 eStart has been extended through the end of September. So this is perfect for you right now because, yeah, the eStart has continued now till the end of September, and you've got the besties coupons. So now is a perfect time to earn your pearls, do the pearls of sharing. Okay, if you heard me or Barbie talk about that, the pearls of sharing are when you do 3 practice sharings with us, you earn the earrings, and 6 practice sharings, you earn the bracelet. We are running that for the month of July, okay? And as a new consultant, you qualify for that to take advantage. So that is happening, and I'd highly recommend. With the team building, though, let me just say, for every new qualified team member, so for example, Sadie has a team member, and Sadie's team member has signed her agreement but has not ordered yet. Okay, these free bonuses, you as the recruiter earn them when your team member becomes Great Start qualified. Okay, Great Start qualified means that he or she has ordered at least $600 in cumulative orders their first 4 months. So it's possible, let's say, I know Sadie, we're doing a sharing later tonight. Let's say that she becomes a consultant. You could earn, when she becomes Great Start qualified, you get to pick 2 of these bundles. So it is up to $220 in free product per new team member. Okay, $220 in free product per new team member, plus a $50 bonus per team member, plus 4% commission. So it can be very lucrative. What will happen then is after the Great Start time period, you will still earn the $50 bonus. You will still earn the commission. You just won't get the free product. So yes, Carly.
When you say commission, is that going off any wholesale order they purchase?
Yes, yes. When I said 4% commission, yes.
Okay.
So let's say a new team member orders 1,000 wholesale, your bonus commission, and that's on a Mary Kay's 50%. It's so cool because we all make 50% selling the product. So that bonus is on Mary Kay's 50% paid directly to you, would be like $40 at 4%. And the more team members that you have, like the more you can, the higher the commission it can be. So we'll talk tonight too about Star Team Builder. I highly recommend that each of you move up to Star Team Builder because then your commission is either 6 or 8% or even 13. Okay, and depending on, as a Star Team Builder, it could be as high as 8%. Okay, and 8% double than 4. You know, so it's the same amount of work, honestly. And $50 bonus per person, again, out of Mary Kay's 50%. Okay, so the team building rewards, the free product, and all the bonuses and commissions are going on through the end of your Great Start time period. But after your Great Start time period, the commissions and the bonuses continue. Okay? All right, any other questions about that? Okay, so that's exciting that you guys have a great handle on the Great Start program. Okay, now that things are opening up, if you are interested in doing, in Barbie or myself, doing like a face-to-face skincare class with you or facial, that is something that we definitely are open to doing. So I've just started this week myself. I had my first party face-to-face since COVID, basically, this week. And so that is something that we're open to. I want you to know that because this is awesome, the virtual experience, and we've become good and you've become good. And we also want to be able to know how to do face-to-face. And so that's something we'd love to train you on as you become comfortable as your people are. So just communicate with us about that if you want to set something up sooner rather than later. Okay. Okay, 2 things I'm going to share with you that I may have shared the first time I saw you. The 6 most important things list. Who is that familiar to? Anyone? 6 most important things list? Okay. So let me refresh or revisit it or tell you to the first time. So I highly recommend doing something called the 6 most important things list. This is something that Mary Kay herself taught. This is something that I started 24 years ago and implemented in my teaching job and implemented it in Mary Kay. And believe me, when you start doing the 6 most important things, you're going to sleep better, be more organized, be more efficient. People are going to be like, oh my gosh, Carly, how'd you get all that done? You're not even going to know how. I mean, because you're doing the 6 most important things list. So with that, this is the premise. Every night before you go to bed, with no distractions, I don't have a TV on, I'm not looking at my phone. With no distractions, every night before I go to bed, I kind of revisit, what did I do today? And what are the 6 most important things for me to do tomorrow? And I segment those. So what are the 6 most important things for me to do tomorrow for my relationship with Jesus? Okay, for my faith, okay? What are the 6 most important things for me to do tomorrow for my family? What are the 6 most important things for me to do tomorrow for my Mary Kay business? Now, if you have another career that you actually have to think about, what do I need to do tomorrow? Like Jess with being a teacher, you might, this was me as a teacher. What are the 6 most important things for me to do tomorrow in my teaching profession or as being a parole officer? If you're someone who has to make a to-do list, I would implement this for your other job too, okay? So every night before I go to bed, what are the 6 most important things for me to do for my faith? What are the 6 most important things for my family? 6 most important things for my career, and 6 most important things for Mary Kay. And if it's not relevant with career, maybe you have a job where you don't have to think about it, you just do it, then don't do that one, okay? So what happens then is every night before I go to bed, I think about what are the 6 most important things for me to do in those areas, and then I write them down in order of importance. You know, you want to prioritize them. So I'm going to just show you, for years and years, I have notebooks and notebooks filled. Every month I take a new notebook, like one of those cheap ones, you know, you get for 50 cents right now, you know what I mean? One of those. And I put the month on it, July 2020. And then I would actually make lines going down and make a thing. And I would say July 15th. Let me think. God, family, Mary Kay. And I'd have columns and I would just handwrite that. Okay. I did that for years. I have notebooks full of that. Well, a couple years ago, I started to actually use a form that I just write on. So I'm going to show you, this is my yesterday. So this is the form. And if you know, it's 6 most important things for Mary Kay, 6 most important things for my family. And then I also have in here, like, what did I have for sales? I have a time thing on the side. So you can actually Google this type of thing. You could say 6 most important things for Mary Kay, you know what I'm saying? Or you have it in your date book. There's room for it, but I write bigger, okay? The back side of mine, yeah, Katie, thanks for showing that, also shows like, hey, customer calls, booking calls. So there's room to write, and that's what I like, is that it helps sometimes think, what are most important things for me to do? You know, what are my income producing activities? So, but you can do it with a notebook. You can do it with a notebook, your 6 most important things. So if I get to it, I check it off. Do you see all these check marks? If I don't get to it, I circle it. And it's that simple. But when you do that, you guys, you will sleep better. Have you ever been like, oh my gosh, I have to remember that? You go to bed and you're like, oh, I have to remember that. Oh my gosh, I have to remember that. Don't drive yourself nuts. Seriously, get up and write it down, because you will never sleep well when you're trying to remember something for the next day. And when you do that, it helps you to kind of reflect on, you know, your day, and just having that quiet time for yourself. I think is so important. Carly, were you going to ask something?
Yeah, you said we could Google the form.
I think you can. Like,
Okay.
this person, I'll tell you, it's Lorraine Bryant. It was free off her website. I'll try to put in her name for a second. Lorraine Bryant, who is a sales director in Mary Kay. I think that, oops. B-R-Y-N-T. Yeah, I'm going to put her name in there. That's where I got the form I'm using. There are others, but I highly recommend that 6 Most Important Things list. Now, if you read, how many of you guys have read Mary Kay's autobiography, or you're in the middle of reading it? Anyone? Okay. I would recommend reading that. That came in your starter kit. But in that book, Mary Kay talks about the $35,000 idea. That's this. It's a true story. Bethlehem Steel was a struggling company many years ago, and a guy came and said, hey, I'd love to talk to your top executives for 15 minutes each and then implement what I share with them, and then pay me whatever you think it's worth after 6 months, or I don't remember the time frame. And then after that time frame, Bethlehem Steel was no longer struggling, and they sent that guy $35,000. So it's called the $35,000 idea. It's very, very effective, and definitely will help in keeping my mind clear, so that I can, you know, live in joy instead of trying to remember everything, and really be efficient. Okay, another thing that I do recommend that we do is called the weekly plan sheet. How many of you have heard me talk, or Barbie talk, about the weekly plan sheet, or know what that is? Okay, awesome, Jess. So the weekly plan sheet is found on Mary Kay In Touch, and it is basically a time by time, Sunday through Saturday, hour by hour, what am I doing, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. And you put in the time, and then you can highlight it, and it's a great way to visually see where am I spending my time. And if someone is having a come apart, I recommend, or I ask, is your weekly plan sheet on the refrigerator? Is your weekly plan sheet? Are you doing your 6 Most Important Things list? Because those two things that I highly recommend for keeping our head and our heart good and not having to come apart, okay? The other thing that I recommend is called the Miracle Morning. And I don't think I trained you guys on this, the Miracle Morning. I'm going to just write this in here because you guys can Google this. But let me just tell you real quickly. The Miracle Morning, Hal Elrod is the author of this. It's now been a number of years, probably 3 years ago at least, that I heard about the Miracle Morning. And so I Googled Hal Elrod, Miracle Morning, and he came up, and it was about a 20-minute video of him telling his story. And it was very inspirational, but also he shared the message. And what I want to recommend is that you do, even from just watching his video, you can implement the Miracle Morning. And I highly recommend it, because what we think about, we really do bring about. And, you know, God has created us with so many gifts and talents that we have. And so through the process of Savers, okay, which is the technique that Hal talks about, I think it really helps us to become the best version of ourselves. And sometimes we have some negative thinking in our minds, negative thinking maybe that was from our upbringing or people, you know, how we were treated, etc. And so sometimes we want, scientifically, there's creases in our brain of how we think, and it really makes a difference. And so I want to have a positive outlook on life. I want to, you know, use the gifts and talents that God has given me, and I want you guys to. And so Miracle Morning will make a huge, huge difference in how you think. And so just real quickly, the Miracle Morning, there is an acronym for it. I would write this down. It's SAVERS, S-A-V-E-R-S. SAVERS is the acronym, and each letter stands for something to do. And Hal's story is very inspiring. I'll tell you really quick. He grew up in California. Before he was age 18, he had the goal of becoming a motivational speaker. He actually had his own talk show at starting age 18, so a radio program. And so he actually started down that path of becoming a motivational speaker. And Oh, let me think now. I haven't talked about this for a while. You'll love his story. But there are 3 principles that he lives his life by that I started living my life by, which is number 1, be grateful for everything. So number 1 principle in life, be grateful for everything. And seriously, you guys, if we live with a attitude of gratitude, we can really, I mean, okay, so even bad things sometimes now, because I've trained my brain, I can be grateful for. So this happened last March, a year ago, March 9th, 2018. Troy and I were leaving the next day for a cruise. We were actually going with Sadie's parents. And you guys remember last year we had like 20,000 feet of snow? Anyone? Okay, remember 2019, terrible winter? So it was the day before we're leaving, and it was before 6 a.m. and my son Christian comes running into our room and says, "Mom, it's raining in my bedroom." And this is March 2019. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I run down to his room, and yeah, there is this water pouring in, and it's ice water. I mean, there's so much snow outside, and it's melting. And so we, for an hour together as a family, Trayton and Christian were outside digging, trying to get all this snow that was as tall as they were, because that's how deep the snow was at that time. It was just crazy out. And then Troy realized this is such a big problem. He got the skidster, and he started working with a skidster, moving snow, moving ice, slush. It was a river. It was literally, I have pictures, it's crazy, a river in our yard. And it was coming into the house, into Christian and Trayton's bedroom. And so Bria and I are downstairs for a good hour, towel after towel after towel, wringing out, taking them to the laundry, rinsing them, having stuff and, drying every single towel we use in the house. And it was crazy. And we worked for like an hour together as a family. And then the kids had to go to school. Okay, that was the wake up. Oh my gosh, it's raining in my room. And so Troy and I continued to work, him outside, me inside. I am bailing water, towels, etc. He's outside with the skidster, moving snow, moving ice and stuff. He comes in, I meet him at the door. We both say together, we both said it at the same time, "I'm so grateful this happened today." That is what came out of both of our mouths. Glory to God, because seriously, we have developed and chosen to live a life filled with gratitude, even in that, because tell me, that was not fun. However, we were so grateful it happened that day because we were still home. Because the next day we were going to be gone, and that could have ruined our house permanently. And our one friend that we would have relied on to do it was going to be with us on the trip. So anyway, we were so grateful. And so if we can train ourselves in the bad to see the good, and this Savers will help you. So S stands for silence. I'll tell you what that acronym stands for real quick. S stands for silence. A stands for affirmations, positive affirmations. And I would recommend, if you can, write this down, because this is what a mental process that I do every single morning, or at least during the day on a regular basis. So S stands for silence. To me, that means prayer, meditation. It's been wonderful for my prayer life. Have you ever said to someone, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to pray for you," and then you do maybe, but then you forget and you just stop, and you don't mean to lie, but you just aren't because you didn't write it down. So S stands for silence, and I love that, because it's given me the opportunity to have a relationship with people that I've never met, pray for people that I don't even know, but someone who I love or know knows them, and it's been awesome. A stands for affirmation. So writing positive affirmations. This is very powerful. Right now, you might have a situation. Right now, you might have less than ideal circumstances happening. And so think about, how do I want my life to be? And I can help you if you want. Write positive affirmations. That a couple rules about them is they need to be written positive, and they're written in the present tense. So, for example, a positive affirmation with my Mary Kay business could be, "I'm a master booker. Everyone wants to book with me." Okay. For my life, I write positive affirmations for spiritual, for financial, for physical, for my business, for relationships with people, all those things. You know, another positive affirmation, I am becoming a master communicator. I'm a great listener. I'm an active listener. You know, trying to help ourselves on the journey of becoming the best version of ourselves is writing some positive affirmations that then we're going to visualize. And if you look at the word savers, S stands for silence, A is affirmations, and V is visualize. Very powerful, visualizing the positive happening. Visualizing asking someone if they want a facial and them saying yes. Visualizing having fun with people at a party and they buy product and take it home that day. Visualizing having a deep, meaningful conversation with a friend or a family member that you've had strife with. You know, I mean, all of that, very, very powerful. E stands for exercise. And exercise so healthy too, with having that positive mindset, with those positive endorphins that happen. You know, great. If I am also exercising, yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable and I'm maybe going to be sore if I haven't for a while. But long term, it's like I'm going to have the energy, I'm going to have the endurance to be, you know, the best person that I can be and the best mom that I can be. You know, if I don't have high energy, I'm like, you know, not being able to keep up with my kids. So anyway, R stands for read. R stands for read. Reading positive books, reading inspirational things. Garbage in, garbage out. I mean, that's something that I really do pay attention to. What do I allow into my mind? Reading the Bible, reading devotionals, reading Mary Kay's autobiography, reading Hal Elrod's book, The Miracle Morning. There are tons of things that we can read. And prior to this, I mean, I'm not like I love to read. Oh, yay. That's not me. However, this has been wonderful doing that because it's having the discipline of, okay, I'm going to read for 5 minutes, or I'm going to read this chapter, or I am going to, and you know, if you want a better life, we have to make a different choice, right? I mean, you do. If I want change, I got to change something. Yeah, visualizing positivity. Yes, visualize. And actually, too, let me even say further, Sadie, with that visualization, visualize the action, visualize the process, visualize it all. Okay. So, in any behavior that I want to change in, any outcome that I want different and better than it is right now, I want to visualize that, the entire thing. Okay. Not just the outcome, but I want to visualize the process getting there. E stands for exercise, R is read. Oh, the last S is, what is the last S? Are you kidding? Okay, this way. Silence, affirmation, visualize, exercise, read. Scribe. There you go. It's a fancy word for journal. Okay. Also, not a thing I did before. Scribe. So writing gratitude, writing what you're thankful for, writing what you're looking forward to, writing disappointments, writing and keeping track, and writing goals and dreams, writing fears. It's very powerful. It's neat to look back at that and see the growth over time. It's neat to look back and see where you were maybe doubting but still had faith, where you didn't know how it's going to work out, but you still had faith, and then it came through to be true. So wanted to share that Miracle Morning, you guys, because it's made a huge difference in my mindset in the last 3 or 4 years that I've been doing that, and I know that it can make a difference for you. Any questions on that at all? Okay. I am going to talk about some specific skills with Mary Kay as well. How many of you right now are primarily doing things online, you know, virtual, not face-to-face with people? Who is doing pretty much everything virtual right now? Okay. All right. Who is doing things mostly face-to-face with people, not virtual much? Okay. So Sadie, mostly face-to-face, Jess, mostly face-to-face, Carla, mostly virtual. Okay. So I do want to share some tips about both of those things. I was talking with Sadie. Sadie just had a party the other day. That went great, and I love it. And as you are starting to hold parties, I highly recommend that you have a conversation the day after with myself, Sadie, or Jess and Carly with Barbie, because we want to hear how did it go, what went well, what you're excited about, what you feel confident about, and where do you want to grow? What are maybe some strengths we want to increase? And so with your party, let me just say, I highly recommend, Jess, and maybe you're doing this too, and Carly, as you get together with people face to face, I highly recommend giving everyone the beauty book. This is what you give to someone at a first facial, this beauty book. That's what you give to every single guest at a first facial. Now, also, if I'm doing it, Carly, through the mail, if I'm, sending them a pamper pack, I send this also. Okay, so this is a book that people are going to write their name on. You're going to customize it for them, or they're going to customize it for themselves at the facial. When you're doing a first facial, do not hand out a lookbook. Do not hand out a lookbook. That is like slitting your wrist. It is when it comes to sales and it comes to long-term customers. Okay, so at a first facial, everyone's getting one of these. No one is getting a lookbook. The time I give a person a lookbook is when I'm completely done and I'm meeting with them one-on-one. And they buy a bunch of stuff, they're scheduling something, I give them a lookbook. Okay, especially, do you guys have lookbooks right now? You might not even have them. Yeah, you might not even have them. So the good news is that they are going to be available starting in August for fall. And how many of you guys have done PCP, Preferred Customer Program? Have any of you guys done that? Or know what I'm talking about? Carly, great job. Awesome. Okay, Sadie and Jess, listen up. Preferred Customer Program. The deadline to enroll people is tomorrow. Okay, the deadline's tomorrow, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is how you do it. If you don't know how to do it, the new consultant training video number 5, I believe it's number 5, the Facebook Brenda's Believers New Consultant Training video number 5 goes detail how to do Preferred Customer Program. I walk you through it. Okay, so take a look at that video. If it's not 5, it's 4, but I'm pretty sure it's 5. You can do it on Mary Kay InTouch. It's under Business Tools, and you enter your customers. And even if you only have a handful of customers right now, it's worth it. So Jess, like I know you had Joy on, you've had some other people, Sadie, Vanita, and other customers. You want to get them inputted in your Mary Kay InTouch as a customer, name, address, phone number, email, and then sign them up to get that book. It costs 70 cents per name. It saves you hundreds of dollars over time because it's much cheaper to have Mary Kay send it, and it includes a free sample than us send it ourselves. Okay, so write that on your to-do list. The deadline is tomorrow, 11:59 p.m. It will cost 70 cents per person. It is a tax write-off. If you're doing it from where you can print it off your receipt right away. Okay, back to the first facial. If I'm doing a first facial, I'm giving everyone one of these. Also, they have the profile card to fill out, and that's all they have. This, the profile card, and a pen. When you get the table ready, you're going to go through the procedure. We do have the you guys have the flip chart. Okay, this works very well. I'm just reading. Do you recommend setting people up and ranking customers? Okay. Yes, Jess, good question. If you think they're going to become a customer, if they've been at a party and they were interested, but maybe they just didn't have the money right now, but you're expecting them to become a customer, then I would send it to them. If they were there and they're kind of like, nah, I don't really, whatever, then I probably wouldn't. Okay. With the starter kit, or with the flip chart here, Barbie and I both have on many pages, make it your own, you guys. Highlight it, write what you want, or ask Barbie or I what we have written. Just trying to get to some pages. Here we go. This is a good example of one of my pages. If you notice, it's very much highlighted and I wrote stuff on it. You can totally scratch and write, you know what I mean? Highlight what you want to say or put post-it notes in to make it your own. And when I do a skincare class, I always use this and I walk people through this. Everyone has this. I think it's really important that they have this, that they can make it their own and they get ownership, but also remember what they're using, okay? And then this, yes, I can flip through. It's great for people who are visual. You do not have to say everything on here. I don't say everything on there. I think it is too wordy, personally. That's my opinion about, but I think it is a great tool, okay? If we're doing stuff, I'm talking face-to-face right now. So as you're going, and even virtually as you're going, say, how does your skin feel? And if you're doing it on Zoom where they can see you or face-to-face, put your hands to your face. How does your skin feel? With a smile, with a positive, you know, you're expecting a positive outcome, right? So when I do a facial, and even if I'm doing it virtually, if this is a first facial, I do have people do the cleanser on the entire face, the day cream on half of the face, the night cream on half of the throat, the eye cream, ring finger, one eye. Then I do recommend you do CC cream, okay? If you're face-to-face, do the stripe test. You put a tiny bit on their finger or in their tray and they go like this with it, okay? Then also at a first facial, satin hands. I do satin lips, okay? And that's it. That is all that I do at a first facial. I do recommend that you keep it simple, that you're not there for 4 hours. When I do it fast like that, I'm still spending time with people. It's not that I'm rushing people, but if I'm doing full color on people, what happens is that they forgot how great their skin felt. And by the time I get to the end, now they're gonna buy eyeshadow because that's the last thing they did. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I would recommend keeping it simple, letting them know at our first facial, we're gonna focus on skin. At our follow-up, we're gonna do color or more supplements. Another option you could possibly do would be I do usually microdermabrasion on the elbow. That is the other thing that I usually do at a first facial. Another option you could possibly do at a first facial would be the charcoal mask, but I honestly like to not do it at the first facial. I like to use that as a follow-up. It's a great booking tool. And also, I don't want them to think if they did charcoal mask, oh, my skin feels so great just because of the mask. It's not. It's because I did other stuff too. But sometimes I'll see people just buy the mask instead of the skincare. Okay. Any questions on that? It's on.
Have you ever done mascara at a first facial? Because I know it comes in the starter kit. So what I've done before is the skincare, the CC cream, and then trying the ultimate mascara.
I do not do that anymore, Sadie. Good question. When I did color at a first facial, I did do mascara, but I don't right now.
Okay, so I just did that at the last party, but my other facials that I've done at a party, we didn't do mascara.
Yeah, I don't, because it's like I'm saving that for next time. You know, I'm saving that for next time, all the color and that. And this is the thing, you guys, when you do color, it takes so much time. It really does. And people take forever. So I want to focus on skincare the first time because that's what builds customers for life. And as a new consultant, you know, we maybe talked about the perfect start, doing 15 faces in 2 weeks or 30 faces in a month. That's a big honor. Or selling 10 skincare sets. That's what I want you to look at. That's my goal. You know, my goal is to sell 10 skincare sets. My goal is to do 30 faces, you know, in 30 days. That is a goal, an awesome goal for a new consultant to have a solid customer base. Because if you have 10 skincare customers, you're going to have reorders. You know, and building how many skincare customers can I have? And when anyone buys a skincare, we always do a follow-up. So I just had a party on 2 nights ago, live, first one I've done. for a long time in my home. It was with 3 people. It was a mother and 2 daughters. Okay. One daughter's a sophomore in high school. The other one just graduated from high school. Mother and 2 daughters. All 3 of them started on skincare. That's what I want. I want everyone started on skincare. And just too, when someone has sensitivity issues or extreme allergies like yourself, I will make and customize a regimen for them. Because it doesn't have to be exactly the Miracle Set 3D. It doesn't have to be exactly, the botanicals. We can customize a regimen because that's what we're here for, is helping people have the healthiest skin they can have and use things that, the majority of population can use all of our skincare as is. Some though cannot. So it's making sure we're listening and customizing as well. But whenever we sell a skincare, then I always, Carly, I'm like, so what works best for your follow-up? And I've talked follow-up at least 7, 8, 10 times during the party. So I'll say, hey, thank you guys so much for coming. This is at the beginning of the facial. And this could be whether it's virtual or face-to-face. Thank you so much for coming. Tonight is actually, you're entitled to 2 appointments. We're focusing on skin. And for your follow-up, we can do color or other supplements. Okay? And then, too, like I know Sadie just had a hostess. You could say, tonight, Rachel as our hostess is getting this. At your follow-up, you will get this when you're the hostess. So there's many ways to bring that up. Yes, Carly.
I had a follow-up with my mom, and she had a question about, she's using the Time Rise Repair, and she said that when she was out on the porch, when it was hot, she was sweating, and it went and burned her eyes.
Okay.
Do you have a recommendation? Like, I didn't know what to tell her about that.
Okay. So it got in her eye?
Yeah, when the sweat went in her eye, I guess.
Okay. Anything in your eye is going to hurt. An eye cream is made for the sensitive eye area, but if I get it in my eye or the sweat in my eye, that is going to hurt. So
maybe just if she's going to be out in the heat, just don't put much on.
Right. Or if you do, daytime is recommended for out and down here, but nighttime on the lid. Don't put it on the lid daytime. I'm not sure if she did or not, but just, that's how it's recommended. But
wait,
also,
what did you say?
So the Time Rise Repair Eye Cream is one of the few tested to be used on the lid, but only at night.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay, so daytime here, crow's feet underneath brow bone. At night, underneath brow bone and lid. But if it's hot and humid like we've had, the last 2 weeks, I would not. I mean, if she was putting that on her lid daytime, I wouldn't. But if it becomes a problem, just if you're sweating a lot and it's coming from here, don't put it up there then.
Okay.
Hot humid days. But yeah, good question. Anything though that gets in our eye, I mean, our eye is, even if it's made for the eye, it doesn't feel good in the eye. So
Thanks.
And can I just ask a clarifying question on that? So
Yeah.
None of our eye creams are meant to be put on the lid necessarily?
That's right, Joe. Actually, the only one tested to be used on the lid is the Time Rise Repair Eye Renewal Cream. Not that a person can't put the other ones on the lid, but that's the only one that's been tested for that specifically is made for that. The other ones, during the day, as I blink, it gets there. But I don't actually physically put it on the lid.
Gotcha. And then my other question was about the microdermabrasion refine. So why the elbow? Why would you have a customer do it on the elbow and not just try it on their face or half of their face? What's the benefit or the reason there?
Yeah, let me answer you that. So if I'm facialing someone for the first time, for example, the women I was doing 2 nights ago, I've never facialed them before. I always want to know just the skincare on half the face, not microdermabrasion. Because if anyone ever has a reaction, I want to know. So I'm doing cleanser full face, day cream half the face only, night cream half the throat only. I do microdermabrasion on the elbow, knowing that that's not where we normally use it. But tonight, I want to test it there because I don't want that in the same half we just did day on. And then there's a reaction. And now we don't know, oh, was that day cream or was that microdermabrasion? So that's one of the reasons, yeah. Mhm.
I did that with my mom on the elbow.
Yeah,
And I think too, the thing about the elbow is it's really rough and dry. And when we did it, you could notice like it's night and day on what elbow you used it on. And that stuck in my mom's head. She kept thinking, what was the product I used on my elbow? I want to get that
so
to use on my body type thing. Yeah.
Now, Jess, if it's a second facial or someone's already on the Miracle Set, the skincare we're doing that day, I will do it on the face. Okay. Let me think what else about that. Another option is back of hand. If it's a first facial, if I don't want to do elbow, I can do it on the back of the hand. Even if I've done satin hands, it's that much more smoother. Okay. So great question. Okay. So with doing an appointment face-to-face, people have the beauty book, they've got the profile cards, they've got the mirror in the tray. We do the things I just mentioned. You're talking constantly, every single step. You want to say, you want to ask every single person, Carly, how does your skin feel? Jess, how does that feel for you? Sadie, how does it feel? I'm going to say that to every person every time. People want to hear their name. They want to know that you love them, that you appreciate them. And I'm going to be asking and giving them eye contact and listening to the answer. Okay? Every single time. And when we're doing that focus, you guys, at every step, how does that feel? They're paying attention. They're realizing, oh my gosh, my face feels so good. I can't even believe how good my face feels. That will happen, but it's through the process of us reminding and asking and putting our hand to our own face and asking them. Okay. Excuse me. So when we get to the end, it is really smart when you're doing a face-to-face. Sorry about that. Okay. It is really smart when people arrive to do the stripe test on them right then, to not wait until the party's halfway into the party. You see what I'm saying? If you can, I would give people a cotton ball with just a tiny bit of cleanser to remove, if they have foundation on, to remove right here so that you can do a stripe test on them before you start the party. Okay? You also, when you finish the skincare, you want to close on it, okay? So, as they're going, and when you do this, you're going to work right along with the flip chart. So this page is Mary Kay, and there's a bunch, that we talk about. Isn't it good to know Mary Kay's a real person, and the company's 57 years old, and Mary Kay puts a lot of money towards two things: one, eradicating cancer, and domestic violence. You can share a little bit about your story and why you started, okay, and a dream that you have. Then this is the main page that we're going to be on, page 4. And when we get done with doing the Miracle Set, then I have people write in their book, and I'll be like, okay, go ahead, grab page 4 now. They've been on page 4 the whole time, unless they're doing page 5, they're on that page, or if they're doing page 6, they're doing that, page 7, they're doing that. Whatever skincare they're using is the one, right? So the majority of people are going to be using the Timewise 3D. So here then, I'm going to say, okay, on that cleanser, go ahead and write number 1 on that and AM and PM, because that's when we use it. The day cream and night cream, and I've already pointed out, like they've seen it, they've had it in their hand. You want to pass everything around. The day cream and night cream are both number 2, and write 1 or AM on the pink and PM on the dark, the gray, like lights out. And your eye cream is number 3, right? AM and PM on that. So they're writing on this. It's ownership, because when they take it home, Jess, don't you want them to know how to use it? You want them to be confident in it. So they're writing it in their own book, in their own handwriting. They're writing down what they're using and how to use it, okay? And I'm showing, this is called the beauty book. You can get these on section 2, 10 of them for $2.25. And for a short time, they were sold out. They are back available. They weren't sold out for very long, but they were one day. And that, I'm not sure, Jess, if when you placed your order, if you ordered them or not. 10 of them for $2.25. If I was you right away, I'd order at least 3 packs so you're prepared to do 30 faces, because every single person gets one. If you're doing the botanicals like I did the other night, Then I did the same thing here. AM and PM, AM and PM, AM and PM. People are writing in the book on what they're using. Then if you do microdermabrasion, that has its own page, page 12. So on microdermabrasion, this is where you have them write 2 times a week, 2 or 3 times a week after cleanser. Have them write that down so they know when to use it. Satin lips and satin hands do not show up in this book, so I have them write satin lips and satin hands in. And that is also a 2 to 3 times a week type of thing. Okay. And then when we get to this page, I say, when we get together for your follow-up, we can pick another supplement to try or a mask. So there's a bunch of them on here that we're not trying, and that's page 14, 15. And then page 16 is the page I end on, and that shows the foundations. So I'll say something like, isn't it great with Mary Kay? We have many choices of foundations. Tonight, we're going to be trying our CC cream. And I do let people use the brush. So, you know, we've got the Mary Kay blending brush and the liquid foundation brush. If you do, I mean, I would recommend having at least a brush that if you're face-to-face that people get to use, because you will sell the brush, or you can use it as a booking tool. And so with the CC cream, then people are putting it on using the liquid foundation brush or the Mary Kay blending brush. You could also have the brush just for the hostess. That's another way to do it. Tonight, Sadie as our hostess gets to apply with the Mary Kay blending brush, you know, and so that's really great.
What's the difference between the foundation brush and the blending brush? I've tried the blending brush and I was blown away by it.
I know. Okay. So the Mary Kay blending brush is a thicker coverage. It's more like our fingers. So that's what you use, Carly. That is what I use. I prefer it. The liquid foundation brush is a more sheer coverage. So that one came out first. So when that came out, I loved it. I named it Velvet. But when the Mary Kay blending brush came out, I switched to that because I like more coverage.
So it's just preference?
It is just preference. It's a sheer coverage with the liquid foundation brush. It's a thicker coverage, more like fingers with the Mary Kay blending brush.
What do people prefer?
Everyone, it's just a personal preference.
Okay.
I sell a ton of both of them.
So do you let people touch them or?
I do. And we have a brush cleaner that actually sanitizes.
Oh, okay.
So you can let people use the brushes and sanitize
And sanitize it when they're done. Okay.
Yep. And then our deeper cleaner, Jess, I don't know if you know this, is our Mary Kay TimeWise bar. So the TimeWise bar, the TimeWise 3D bar, and that's going to show up when you're ordering under like TimeWise Age Fighting, and it retails for $20, and it's a bar, and it's in its own case that has holes in the bottom, and that is a perfect brush cleaner for the deep clean. So a few times a week, with my own brush, deep clean. Every day the spray. Okay, with our brushes that we're demoing with people, in between people, right here at the party, spray. Later, between parties, deep clean. Okay, so great question. So then everyone finishes with this book. So when I'm done with the party, we have just finished doing our face through CC cream. We've done our hands, we've done our lips, and maybe our elbow. Okay, that's what we've done. Then what I say, and people are sitting around the table right now, and I say something like this. Okay, we're gonna do a look, or well, actually first I say, hey, you can go look and admire yourself. Go look in different lighting, take your mirror, look outside, look in the whatever. So they go admire. If they go admire, most times they do, but sometimes they don't. If they leave, then I clean the table. I get the washcloths off. I get the I give everyone a bowl of water. I don't think I mentioned that. I recommend giving everyone a bowl of water. So anyway, that all gets taken off, garbage gets off. Only thing left is their tray that they can look at in their mirror, and then the beauty book and their profile card. Okay? So as they return to the table, you're going to be like, do it look different in the other room? And they're going to say, oh yeah, it looks great. Okay. And then I'll say, okay, next we're going to do compliment time. First, I'm going to ask you how your skin feels. Then and when I say that, I put my hands in my face. So it's good we're doing this on Zoom so you can see me. First, okay, we're going to do compliment time. First, I'm going to ask you how your skin feels. Then I'm going to ask you what you think of your look. And then everyone can chime in and give you compliments. And Sadie, we're going to start with you because you got us together first. First, how does your skin feel? And I always start with the hostess. And I'm always, whoever I ask, I'm giving full attention. Full attention. A fire could happen behind my head, but I'm not turning around because I'm giving all my attention to Sadie, the hostess, who I just said, how does your skin feel? And I will not talk until she answers. Okay, so she's going to answer something positive, and whatever it is, so Sadie, just answer me. But Sadie, how does your skin feel?
Feels fantastic. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, you can tell a difference. Sometimes
Yeah.
I ask that. Yeah, and I'm smiling and nodding. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Okay, and then I'll be like, okay, so tonight you use, now you guys, I didn't say I was going to ask this question, but this is the most important question. So tonight you use, and then I hold it up like Vanna. Tonight you use the 3-in-1 cleanser, the day cream. I'm holding the different products, the night cream, the eye cream. What did you like best about those?
What did you say?
So tonight you used the day cream, or the cleanser, the day cream, the night cream, the eye cream. I grab each of them and I hold them. And may I ask Sadie, what do you like best about those?
The way they made my skin feel so smooth.
Awesome. And what do you think about your look and how your skin looks?
I think my skin looks very clean and hydrated, and I love the texture.
Awesome. And what do you guys think of Sadie's look and how her skin looks?
Amazing.
Okay, so that is exactly how that sounds, you guys. I'm going to ask those questions and I'm going to wait. And then sometimes if people aren't good at complimenting, I engage them. I'll say, Jess, what do you think of Sadie's look? Or if I feel like she hasn't gotten enough compliments, I will then compliment. But I'd rather have her friends compliment her instead of me. Okay? So then we go around. Everyone, we do that same thing. So I'll be like, Carly, so how does your skin feel? And
That's
today
great.
we use this and this and this and this. And what do you like best about that? And what do you think about your look and how your skin looks? And what do you guys think of Carly's look and how her skin looks? You're going to do that to every single person. And then when you get to the last person, she is just finished, then you're going to say something like this. You're sitting, by the way. When you do compliment time, you want to be sitting, not standing. Okay? If it's a party of 3 or less people, you're going to sit almost the entire time. If it's a party of 4 to 6 people, you're going to be standing some of the time. If it's 6 or more, you're going to be standing all the time. Just to give you logistics of party size, and it depends too, like if you need more authority, stand. If you're a dominant person, very confident, maybe sit more. Okay, so just a little bit with body language. So when you get done with this, I'm sitting and I say something like this. Sadie, thank you so much for getting us together. It's really the highest compliment you can pay me is to invite me into your home. And it was really great getting to meet all of you. Thank you. And what I'll do next, I will share the sets and specials that I offer. And then I stand. So I'm going from thank you to acknowledging, it was really great meeting you guys, you know, if I've never met you before, or it was really great getting to see you again. Oh my gosh, this is so fun connecting. And then, and what I'll do next is share the sets and specials that I offer. And I would use that languaging. And what I'll do next is share the sets and specials that I offer. Because don't you agree that people love to buy, but they don't like to be sold? And also, I think most people like sets and specials. Okay, so just saying that is positive. So what I'll do next is share the sets and specials that I offer. And then you're going to share the sets and specials that you offer. At that, that's called the table close. Everyone's together. I'm sharing the sets and specials. I know that Barbie and I do slightly different sets and specials. That is okay. You can totally do what Barbie does, or you can totally do what I do. I would suggest, as a new consultant, you either do what Barbie does or you do what I do, because we have been doing this a long time. Barbie has done National Court of Sales. I've done National Court of Sales more than 10 times. Okay, I mean, I am really good at selling, right? I really highly recommend that you take advice from us that have been doing it. So the sets and specials that I do, and I can share it with you later, but I do have that mix and match, any two get an additional 10 for free, 20 for free, 30 for free. And it's intentional. It's an additional so much for free, an additional so much for free. And then I've got that marked on the placemat, okay? Barbie does something similar where you can get a half off foundation or a free foundation. Both of them work, both are effective, but you do want to do that. But I'm not going to focus on that now. So if you want more info on that, let me know later, okay? But after the sets and specials, then you do what's called the individual close. This is critical. It is very important that I meet with every single person by themselves. The exception is the mom and the daughters, and they're all buying their stuff together because they're younger, okay? The rule is I'm going to meet with everyone individually. It's called the individual close. Ways to make that happen and for everyone to know that's going to happen is say it at the beginning. Sadie, thank you so much for getting us together, and thank you everyone for being here. You could have been doing 5 or 6 different things today, and you chose to be here. I so appreciate you. We're going to have fun today. Our main focus is skincare. Then we'll do just a little bit of CC cream. You'll have the chance then to meet with me one-on-one, write down what you want to take home and what you want to remember. You're going to talk about at the beginning, but also during. Let's say Jess says, oh my gosh, do you have something for dark circles? And I might be like, oh, I'm so glad you asked that, Jess. Yes, I do. Hey, write that down right now because I'll talk to you later one-on-one when we talk. I'll be sure to mention that. So refer to it intentionally so people know, oh, you're going to meet with me one-on-one. Oh, okay. All right. The reason to meet with people one-on-one, it saves number one, it saves a tremendous amount of time. Totally saves time, you guys. Number two, money is a personal matter. And so I want to talk to everyone personally, one-on-one, about what they want to take home, because I don't want someone to be like super rich and they're taking everything, and then someone else who's really, has absolutely no money and they're embarrassed. I don't want that to happen. So also, I do let people do payment plans. I don't want them to have the embarrassment of having to say that in front of other people. So it's a one-on-one conversation. So you do want to communicate with the hostess. Hey, do you have a place we can sit around and do facials? Yeah, at the table. Okay, perfect. Hey, is there a separate location that I can meet with people afterward? Like when you maybe eat out refreshments, that I can meet with people and, write down what they want to take home, what do I remember? Oh yeah, the living room. So do you have to say that though in advance so the hostess expects it? And so that there's a place clean for you to be, and then also say it to everyone so that they realize that's going to be happening. So when I do that table close, I'm sharing the sets and specials, and I'll be like, oh, and if you're doing 50 or more, you get a free gift, and I bring my free gift bucket out. And then I'll be like, oh, and if you need to go first, I can meet with you first. When we get together, just bring that beauty book and your profile card and your placemat and the set special sheets. And we'll just sit in the other room. Anyone need to go first? And if I heard someone saying, ooh, I got to get going. Oh, I've got kids at home. Oh, it's getting late, blah, blah, blah. I will say to them, hey, Jess, why don't we grab that and we can meet first? I'm going to be proactive in if I heard someone saying that type of thing they need to go on. Okay? Any questions on that? That's called the individual close, which is a huge, huge part of our business. So when you get together with someone for the individual close, this is what you do. First, you're going to have your stuff already there. So what you have there is a calculator, sales tickets, your date book, lookbooks, or hostess packets, or recruiting information. That stuff I have in one bag, and it's at that other location, or I have it that I'm going to grab and walk into the other room with them. So when we sit down then in the other room for the individual close, I want her to be comfortable. I want her to feel like she's in the driver's seat. So,
Brenda?
Yeah.
So you said sales tickets, date book, recruiting information, calculator, and what else?
Hostess info, if you give out any hostess info. Yeah, your date book, a pen, sales ticket. She's bringing the beauty book, the set sheet, the placemat, profile card. So when I'm sitting down with her, these are my goals, really, is first I want to build a relationship. Secondly, I want to schedule a follow-up, preferably with friends. I want to sell product on the spot. And if I really like her, or I think she'd be good at Mary Kay, I want to ask to set up the interview. Okay? So this is kind of how that goes. We go in the other room. I'm going to sit, and preferably I will sit lower than what she's sitting. If we're on a couch, that can work, or she can be on a chair. I don't like to be across. I want to be adjacent to, next to, or kitty corner, never across. Okay, again, body language makes a big difference. Okay, I don't want a barrier. So I'm going to sit there and I'm going to say, did you have a good time? I'm looking at her, did you have a good time? Great. And then I will say, and there's more than one way you can say this, but number one, you've just shared the sets and specials. So you could say, hey, so what sets or specials would you like to take advantage of tonight? Or what were you thinking of getting tonight? What were you thinking of starting with? Or you could say, you know your situation a whole lot better than I. Would you like to splurge and start with 3 or 4 sets, or were you thinking just 1 or 2? Okay, these all work. You can say any of these things. Susie, you know your situation a lot better than I. Were you thinking of splurging and pampering yourself and starting with 3 or 4 sets? Or were you thinking just 1 or 2? Whatever works for you, certainly fine with me. When you ask that question, or do you have a good time? Great, it was really nice meeting you. So you know your situation better. Were you thinking of splurging and getting 3 or 4 sets, or were you thinking just 1 or 2? Or what sets of specials would you like to start with tonight? When you ask that question, you do not talk again. Okay, do not talk after you ask that question. What would you like to start with tonight? I'm going to wait. I'm going to patiently wait. I am not going to talk. If I need to, I will look at my date book. I will look at something else. I will just sit and wait, because you've asked the question, the ball is in her court. Okay? So then she might answer and she'll go, I was thinking about starting with the Miracle Set. And I'll be like, oh, that's awesome. So then the sales ticket. Oh, I forgot to mention. At the table close, after I've shared sets and specials, I hand out a sales ticket. Okay, what you write down an order on. And I'll say, hey, here's your sales. If those of you that want to take something home today, we're going to write this on here. And go ahead and write Jess down as the hostess. And you'll write your name and address, phone number, email. The rest, sets and specials, I can write for you, because I know the prices off the top of my head. I can save us time. You can just fill out the top part. Again, Jess is the hostess. So anyway, so she's got the sales ticket. So if I say, what would you like to start with? And she says, I'm starting the Miracle Set. Then she's going to hand me the sales ticket. I'm going to take the sales ticket and I'm going to write down Timewise 3D Miracle Set. And then I'm going to be specific. Was it for dry skin or oily skin? Okay. Did she use SPF or not? Be very specific, because the faintest ink is more retentive than is better than the most retentive memory. Seriously, you might remember now, you might remember 6 months from now, but let me tell you, you might not remember a year from now what combination she was of skincare. Okay. So, and then let's say she gets a Miracle Set, and then this will be my next thing. If she doesn't say, I'll say, and what else? You're going to ask that question, and what else? Until she says that was it. Okay, so you make sure you ask that, and what else? Don't just assume because she started with Miracle Set that she's done shopping. Also, if she's doing the Miracle Set, now she qualifies for an additional $10 of free product. So I'm going to point that out. Okay, so let's say that she's getting the Miracle Set, and then maybe she's doing the CC cream, and she's getting $10 off of that because that's what she's putting her $10 toward. So it's going to be about $122 or something, plus tax, okay? Then I'll collect the money, or I'll write down the credit card number and stuff, and then I'll be like, and I have my date book handy, and I'll say, so what works best for your follow-up? A weeknight or weekend? May I ask, what works best for your follow-up? Day of the week, end of the week? weekend, weeknight. Say 2 options, okay? And if you've talked follow-up facial 7, 8, 10 times during the party, she's going to be like expecting a follow-up, planning on a follow-up. But if you don't say a follow-up, she's probably going to be, what is a follow-up? Why do I need a follow-up? I don't want to do follow-up. So make sure you say it many times because it guarantees the guarantee. I want to see someone in 7 days to 2 or 3 weeks. 3 weeks usually maximum. I want to see someone again because they're going to know, and I want to get things right for their skin. And I want to build a customer for life. Okay, so I'm going to ask for that follow-up. And then I might say, hey, is there any reason why I'm going to get together that you wouldn't want to invite a few friends like what Sadie did and get free stuff? So she might be like, oh yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so if that's the case, now I have her thinking about friends. So I don't write the date and time in until that. Okay, and then let's say we set that, I'll say awesome. And then maybe she's someone who I think would be awesome at doing what I do. If that's the case, this is what I say. Hey, Carly, there's just one more thing I want to say because I believe it. I really do. I think you'd be good at doing what I do. And don't you believe you could do everything you saw me do here tonight? You know, it only takes me about 20 minutes to tell you how easy it is to get started. Is there any reason why you couldn't stay for a few minutes later, or could we set something up tomorrow? Okay, so let me say that one more time. Hey, Carly, there's just one more thing. I believe you'd be good at doing what I do. And don't you believe you could do everything you saw me do tonight? You know, it'd only take about 20, 30 minutes to tell you how easy it is to get started. Is there any reason, do you have time tonight or is tomorrow really better? Okay, so I would ask to share. Okay, sometimes when I say that, some people are like, oh, I could never do that. And I'll be like, you know, you're probably right, but I'd love to get a people's opinion. Is there any reason why I couldn't share? That's not going to stop me. I'm not trying to talk her into it. I am encouraging her to listen so she knows her options. Okay. If she says, oh my gosh, yeah, I have time tonight, I do it right there after I close with everyone else. More often than not, I'll schedule for the next day, but I do some on the spot as well. Okay. So that is the individual close. How many sets can I sell? How many books can I get? How many interviews can I set up? And also we're asking for referrals. I think that's a really important part of our business to build business. And so you could do a referral game during the party where you can ask for referrals like I just did the other night. I'm like, oh, anyone that thinks 5 people or more, you get $5 off your order tonight. And they can just write down people during the party, you know, or while you're closing with other people, okay? All right, let's talk about 60-40 split. So this is money management, okay? I would love to hear from you. Tell me, one of you guys, one of your best weeks in sales that you've had so far, or, you know, tell me one of your weeks in sales that you've had, if anyone knows. And I'm just going to get a pen here. So we're going to talk about how we split our money. Okay.
I had a week where I sold 54, and I had a week where I sold 246.
Okay, we're going to take 246, Carly. Perfect. Thank you. Sadie, tell me one of your weeks, okay?
467, something like that.
Okay, awesome.
And then was that this week? Yeah, that was this week. This week I had 169.
Okay, awesome. So I wrote down 467 for you. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, perfect. All right, Jess, tell me one of your weeks that you've sold so far.
My first week I did 336.
Okay, awesome. Oh my gosh, you guys, great job, all of you. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. And I will use one of my weeks, current week right now. The party that I just had 2 nights ago was just over $300, and then today I sold over $200. So I'm going to just write down 500. Okay, for my week right now. Okay, So this is what we're gonna do. Get a clean piece of paper. With Mary Kay, we do what's called the 60-40 split. It's how we split up. Now, let me just preface this with, when I do 60-40 split, it's when I'm at a profit level of inventory. If I don't have any inventory or any product on hand or not enough product on hand to service the customers that I have or the customers that I want, then I'm going to build up to profit level inventory before I start doing the 60-40 split. Okay? We start doing the 60-40 split when we have at least 1,800 wholesale on shelf, and that would be for very part-time or more, okay? Prior to that, if I don't have at least 1,800 wholesale on shelf, I recommend that you put almost everything back into the business right away to build up to that so that you can give on-the-spot delivery, and it makes a huge difference on how much people will purchase and saving you time and money, okay? But the 60-40 split, so what we're gonna do is on this piece of paper, I'm going to, on the far, I'm making some columns here. The far left is gonna be my week. So that's gonna be the date. And then I'm going to make a column that is 60%. And I'm gonna make a column that is 10%. And I'm going to make a column that is 40%. So I'll just show you kind of what it will look like. So I'm putting the date of the week, and then I'm doing 60%, 10%, 40%. Okay? And actually that 60%, we should write it as a 50. Excuse me. That 50 and 10 equals that 60. Okay.
Can you show that again?
Yes. So over here I've got the date because these will be the weeks we just talked about, and then I got 50. That should be a 50 on 60. This should be 10, and this should be 40.
Okay.
Okay. So the principle of the 50 or 60-40 split is this: once I am at profit level inventory, once I'm there, I want to split my money doing the 60-40 split. Okay. So 50%, 50, goes back into product. 50% for sure goes back into what I just sold, because if I don't do that, I'm depleting my inventory. Also, keep in mind that I'm taking things off the shelf for me. So sometimes I'm going to put more than 50% in there, or if I'm giving free product to hostesses, sometimes I'm putting more than 50% in, so I'm not depleting my inventory. Okay? The 10%, I usually split into 5-5. And about 5 of that extra, I put back into product actually, because of me taking stuff off my shelf. My family and I use at least $3,000 worth of product in a year. That adds up. If I don't put it back in, right? So I'm putting an extra, that 10%, I split into 5 and 5. 5% more into product, making up for hostesses and myself using it, and 5% for section 2, for sales aids, for demos. That's 5%. Okay? And then 40% is my profit. 40% is my profit minus expenses. So as a business owner, I'm frugal. You know, I'm like, oh, do I need that fancy organizer, or would I rather have more profit? You know what I'm saying? Because that 40% is my profit minus expenses. So whatever, like, I'm paying to go to seminar, right? We're registering for seminar. It's $40 or $45. That's going to come out of that 40%. But the good news is that I get $40 in free product for going. So I actually can replace it, right? But other things like I'm buying stamps. That's going to come out of my 40%. Okay. So with the here, let's just look and let's pretend this is our month of July. We're just going to write this as the month of July. And so the first week, well, under date, I'm going to write week 1, and we're going to take Carly's week. So, and if you guys, anyone is fast with math or has a calculator, so week 1, Carly's sales were $240, $246 were the total sales. So I'm just writing on my little thing where date, I wrote week 1 and I wrote the total sales, 246. Now, what is 50% of 246? Anyone? Let me see.
123.
Thank you. So put 123 in the 50%. In the 10% column, I'm going to divide that actually by 5%. 5%. Do you see that? I got 10%, but I got a line going down. So I'm going to write it as 5 and 5. So what is 5% of 246?
1230.
Perfect. So in each, that 10%, I'm going to write 1230, 1230. And then 40% of 246 is 9840. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So that's our week 1. Okay, now we're going to write in week 2. Week 2, Sadie had in sales. So on the date, I'm writing week 2. The total sales were $467. So for week 2, I'm writing $467. 50% of that is $233, I think, and 50 cents. And 5% of that is $25 and 69 cents, excuse me, or 68 cents. $25 and 68 cents. And 40% of $467 is $186.80. Okay, our week 3 was Jess's week, and that was $336 in sales. That's week 3, 336. And what is 50% of that?
168.
Perfect, 168. And what is 5% of 336? I think it's $16.80. And 40% of $336 is $134.40. And our final week, week 4, our sales were $500 for week 4. And half of that is $250. And 5% of that is $27.50. And 40% of that is $200. So our chart looks something like this. Now we're going to total those columns up. Okay? Jess, can you total the 50% column? And Sadie, can you total the 10% column or the 5-5? Do you have something to total with or not? It's okay. I'll do it. That's fine. Carly, do you have something to total with?
I have a calculator, but I just wrote down mine. I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was supposed to be writing down everybody else's.
Oh, I want you to write down everyone.
I did that.
This is an example of a month.
Okay.
So everyone write down 4 weeks, please, because we're working our business every week. Sorry, my directions were not good, apparently.
So Brenda, you wanted me to total the 50% column?
Yeah, the 4 weeks added together, what is 50%?
I'm sorry, Brenda, can you put that back up there?
Yep. Yeah, Jess, the 4 weeks added together, what is the 50%?
Are you asking me for my answer right now?
Yeah, I am. Yes, I am.
$674.50.
Perfect.
All right, Brenda, which one do you want me to do?
Just hang on a second. So 50% is $674.50.
Yep.
Okay, Carly, can you add together the 4 weeks, the 40%,
Yep.
4 weeks of that, and I'll add together the 5% or 10%.
I'm sorry, Brenda. I missed carrying a 1. It's $774.50.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
$774.50. Okay, perfect.
The 40% is $619.60.
$619.60. Okay, excellent. Okay,
Well,
so this is how it works then. And the 10% or the 5% is $82.20, I think, is what this 5% is. Okay, so this is my thing now. I've got 700 and whatever that says, and 82 something, and 619 something. Okay. So a new consultant was with me when I had my party 2 nights ago, and she asked, how often do you order? And many consultants, there are many different levels of consultants. So some consultants order once a month. Some consultants order twice a month, and that's probably the most common. And some consultants order every week. Okay. So if this was your actual month for the month of July, and that's what you sold, the minimum that you could possibly order and would be $775 wholesale. That's what this column is. This is going to be my wholesale order going back into the company, that 50%. But more often than that, you guys, you're going to take 77.4 plus the 5%. So I'm just going to add 82, and your wholesale is going to be more like $856. And the reason it's going to be more like $856 is because I'm adding 5% to that 50% so that I don't deplete my inventory. Because I am giving Hostess credit, because I am taking stuff off my shelf myself. Then that next 5% column, the 82, my section 2 should never be higher than that. So if I'm ordering 856 wholesale, my section 2, the maximum it should be is $82. And I'm paying for it in here. I have it calculated, right? But I never want my section 2 to ever be more than 10%. I want it to be more than, between 5 and 10. It depends, because when we're working virtual, we're ordering more samples than normal. Okay. Or maybe when I first start my business, okay, yeah, I'm going to invest and get a bunch of samples now. But then as a reorder type thing, I'm never ordering that high a percentage of samples again, usually compared to retail products. Okay.
So does that mean you suggest at the end of the month, we write down everything like we just did to find out how much money we should be spending in samples?
Yes. I recommend doing this every month. Every week when you do your week accomplishment sheet. But keep in mind, what your week accomplishment sheet says and what you bring in is not identical. Okay, this is money you're bringing in, because think about if someone's using credit card, you're losing 3%. So keep in mind that with the cash flow, this cash flow will be a little bit different than your week accomplishment sheet. Okay.
Oh, and this was supposed to be after we are turning a profit, after we get 1,800 on the shelf.
Right. Once you have at least 1,800 on the shelf. Now, some people want more than that. I mean, but that's the minimum that I recommend you start this. Before that, I would put everything, or if you need some money to live on, maybe do 80-20 or 90-10. I mean, just be honest with yourself. Don't beat yourself up about, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? I've taken some money for myself, but sometimes you have to take some money for yourself, but just be honest about it. And then the last column, if you look, the 619 is your profit. Okay, that's your profit minus expenses. So maybe like early on, in my business, I started paying some home bills with my Mary Kay. So I paid for our internet and phone bill, I paid 100% all the time since I started Mary Kay. So I would subtract that out, which is about $70. And then if I have any other expenses, like going to a Mary Kay conference or buying, sending postage, I subtract that out before I write myself a paycheck. But then I do write myself a paycheck. Okay. I don't recommend writing yourself a paycheck, or not a very large one, until you have some more inventory, though, at least at that profit level. Okay. And profit level is different for everyone, but the minimum for someone who's extremely part-time is, in my mind, $1,800. And then, Barbie probably always has at least 5,000 on shelf or more. I always have about 7,000 on shelf or more. Because you can, in an instant, as you're gaining customers and you're getting a larger client base, you're going to have people buying product on a regular basis, reordering. You're getting paid time and time again for work you did in the past. But then you're also getting new customers. So you're going to many times sell $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. I mean, that's going to be normal. So when I'm selling that, I certainly want to have some stock so I'm not constantly running out. Okay.
What do you do is the most effective way to, I know the print on the bottle says that when it expires or whatever, but do you write on products? How do you switch out your inventory to make sure?
Okay, physically in my office. First in, first out. So let's say I've got 5 miracle sets. I order some more. Those go to the back. The new comes to the front. I mean, you have to make sure you're doing first in, first out. Most things don't have a shelf life that has an expiration on them. The only ones that do is acne treatment gel and sunscreen products. Okay, nothing else does, but 3 years is kind of on fragrances. Shelf life, I would say, is 3 years on fragrances and lotions and skincare and stuff. Color, the shelf life's a lot longer if it isn't opened. Okay, so the great question, but you do want to make it a practice of first in, first out, moving things strategically on the shelf so that you are selling what you ordered first gets sold first. Great question. Hey, you guys, I know that we're at time right now. I hope this was helpful for you. I am willing to stay on for a few more minutes if you have any other questions. Sadie, do we have that appointment also with Rachel? Is that happening?